Hello and Happy New Year. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt and this is Bask in the Story. A new year means new challenges, and to that end I have decided to set myself a new reading challenge for the year. I have reached out to a few of my favourite booktubers to get their book recommendations, and I will randomly draw one each month to read and do a dedicated vlog. I will be drawing my first recommendation at the end of this video, so please do stay tuned. But first, let's meet the booktubers who are taking part. All are relatively new, having started in 2023, like myself. Well, to be honest, 2 started in the last week or so of 2022, but I'm including them in the class of 2023 because it's my rules. So let's run through the 10 channels in alphabetical order. So we start with Ali read a book. Or is it Ali read a book? Honestly, I'm not sure if it is a statement of fact or a demand. Regardless, Ali reads mainly horror with some literary fiction, some non-fiction thrown into the mix. She has a wonderful, chaotic energy that is incredibly engaging, and she has some of the best jumpers on Booktube. Next up, we have Usman from Bards and Books. He is a keen fantasy reader and seems to especially enjoy the darker side of that genre. He's working his way through Malazan. He also recently did a review on the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, which he absolutely loved. And he has also started reading one of my absolute favourite series, The Discworld. So there is some light shining there somewhere. Now, if you want relaxing nature and reading vlogs, then the next channel is definitely for you. Farah from Bookstalgic not only does quite beautiful vlogs, she also reads really broadly and will seemingly try almost any genre, so it's always fascinating to hear her thoughts. Christopher Navo from The Next Chapter is a big fantasy reader and a real advocate for indie fantasy, and I get to see so many great recommendations from him that I don't necessarily see elsewhere. He is also the king of lighting. I mean, just look at his setup. But fortunately, like us mere mortals, he does screw up enough to have some great blooper reels at the end of his videos. Now we head to the Southern Hemisphere and to the home of the Rugby World Cup winners, South Africa, where, if we look carefully, we will uncover Cliff's dark gems. Did that sound rude to anyone else? No? Just me? Okay, Cliff is a horror reader with an expansive knowledge of the genre, which for someone like me who has only dipped their toe into this genre, he is invaluable. Next, we are heading to Colin's Corner, who reads and discusses fantasy with some horror and is excitingly, for me anyway, looking to read more of one of my favourite genres, sci-fi. And for those with a sense of humour, you will hopefully be delighted by his Comedy with Colin sections, which are ridiculously sublime. The newest booktuber in this list is Erin from Erin Reads. Having only been on YouTube for a couple of months, Erin is a big horror reader, but also loves a cozy read too. They bring great energy to the screen, which is infectious. They also love frogs, and I'm for anyone with a love of nature. Who's next? Yes, Laura from Fantasy Awash, who mainly reads, well, fantasy. I mean, the clue is in the channel name. Though she does really read broader than this, and I believe has a degree in Roman history and religion, and has just started a series looking at religion in fantasy, which is absolutely fascinating. Laura and Christopher Navo have also been pairing up to discuss the Wheel of Time TV series, which very neatly leads me on to my next channel. I love a good segue. Sam Howson from the channel of the same name and I are starting the Wheel of Time series in January. So now, which I'm incredibly excited about, and we will hopefully have a live chat once we have finished the first book, The Eye of the World. Sam has returned to reading relatively recently and mainly reads fantasy and sci-fi. He's also just begun the massive Wandering In series, which, taking that on alongside Wheel of Time, just sounds like madness to me, but each to their own. And last, but certainly not least, we come to the magnificent duo that is Yolanda and Carlos, who make up the StoryTube channel. They both read really broadly, covering fantasy, sci-fi, horror, historical fiction, crime, graphic novels, comics, and even more. They are very engaging to watch, and their joy for talking about books just shines through. As there are 2 of them, they have very kindly each given me a recommendation. So, there we have it. 10 of my favourite channels and 11 recommendations. So I think it is time now to make my January pick. I've written all the booktubers on pieces of paper and have them all in this It's very high value here, all in this beautiful bowl. There's nothing like a high value thing. Let's just mix them up and let's give them a good mix. And we'll pick one at random and let's have a look what we've got. I'll show it to you first. So hopefully you can see that. Hopefully I got it the right way up. Let's have a look. Colin's Corner. Okay, so let's go and check out what Colin has got in store for me.
Hi everybody, my name is Colin from Colin's Corner, and I want to take just a second to thank Matt for inviting me to do this collaboration video. He wanted me to recommend him a book that he's going to read in this upcoming year, 2024, and maybe do a reading vlog of it. So I was perusing my shelves and trying to think of a book that would lend itself really well to being vlogged and seeing people's reactions throughout, and so I settled on Misery by Stephen King. And the reason that I picked this book, and even if you've seen the movie, I still think that you should give this one a try, Matt, because I don't know if a book has ever been able to create such a feeling of anxiety and tension throughout the entire thing. I was hooked to this tiny setting of, basically everything happening in one house, and I would love to see your reactions throughout this if you were to choose to do a vlog for this one.
Okay, so you just seen the video. Colin's obviously put forward Stephen King's Misery as his recommendation, which I'm actually pretty delighted about because I only read my first Stephen King recently, and that was Pet Sematary, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. The writing was so engaging, and also just dealt with some of the greatest fears I have, and it was an emotional read. And it didn't give me the frights, but that sort of fear element was just so well done, and just the way I connected with the characters was just superb. So Misery is very different, and thank you, Colin, for giving me your most anxious read that you could probably find. So that will be an exciting vlog, hopefully, of seeing me spiral down into anxiety. But that will be coming up. If you want to read along with me, please do. Misery in January. I don't own it yet. Don't have a copy, so I've got to go and source a copy ASAP. I expect the vlog will be up probably early mid-February. So if you want to read it and then see my reaction to it as well in February, that would be fabulous. If you have read it, no spoilers in the comments, please, no spoilers. But do let me know your thoughts on what you think of this pick. And as I say, each month we'll be picking one all the way through till the end of the year. Obviously, December we won't have one because I will be doing a lot of rereads and there's all the top 10s and whatever else. But one every month going forward. First one, Misery by Stephen King. Thank you, Colin, for the recommendation. I would say it's going to be great fun. It may just be an anxiety-ridden mess. And on that note, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please do think about liking, subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Which I'm really critical.